Today, we're going to create an absolutely amazing admin dashboard that we created with AI in less than an hour. We can see our users, a complete list of our users, and we have a content dashboard where we see the complete content analytics. We see our revenue stats. We literally one-shotted that with AI. That's what we're going to build today. Let me show you. Today, we're going to create a admin dashboard and an admin login that gives me an overview of all the most important stats of the application. To start the process, we need to create the admin role that is connected to the user ID. As I'm the only admin and for now I'm the only team member, we don't need to have a complex system. We just need to create the admin role. It's false by default, and I will manually give myself the admin role. I think it is enough that only I can create that role through the database. All right, let's send this off. What the agent now should give me is an SQL command that I can run in the database SQL editor that will just create the admin role, false for every user, except I will put myself as the admin for now. It created the admin role SQL code that we will need to just copy from here all the way down. There you go. We're going to copy that. We're here in our Superbase account, the thumbnail generator, and we're going to go to table SQL editor. Here we open the new tab and we're just going to paste the code that we copied. We're going to run it. Okay, success. No rows returned. Very good. So let's go to the table editor. And then we need to go to user profiles and we're going to see if there is a admin role that is created, right? Is admin false everyone, which is Boolean, true or false. And now we're gonna give my main account, the rest is just creator accounts, which is the second one, the unlimited one. We're gonna change that to true. All right. So now I have the admin role attributed. Let's go back to Cursor and actually create the dashboard. I ran the SQL code and I changed my personal admin role to true. So that's all set up. Perfect. Now what we need to do is to create a dashboard layout, a separate layout to our application that can host different dashboards and also has a link back to the main app. We can access that probably /admin. And I want to have a sideboard where I can access different dashboards. And also I want to give the app a little bit of a different feel. You may use more darker grayish colors to design this admin board. So as mentioned, I'm alone, so we don't need to do a complex admin role system where different roles have different access to different information and all of that. For now, we keep it lean and simple. Only I have the admin access, no other person can access it. We will implement certain security measures that no one can access this data except from me. Clearly, anybody who has the URL can actually go to the URL, but it needs to be blocked. I need to actually be logged in as the user, and we will set this up in a safe way. The agent is done. Let's see what he says. Perfect. I've created a complete admin dashboard system with the following. What has been created? A migration admin role. We did that already. RSL policies allowing admins to view, update all profiles. Helping SQL script. All right. Backend API. So we created a kind of separate app almost. That is the dashboard, the admin dashboard. So we have root TS admin endpoints, root user TS user profile endpoints, service admin, middleware on. Okay. The front end /admin will route to the dark gray layout. That sounds fantastic. Can you give me a link to check it out? Let's have a look what the agent created. So we are logged in into our account, and now if we change the URL to admin, I should get redirected to the admin dashboard, and look at that. Absolutely amazing. Love it. Admin panel, management dashboard. I'm logged in with my email. We can see dummy cards, active subscribers, thumbnail generated, monthly revenue. This is obviously dummy information. It created a few different pages here which are not active. When I click on here, the page is not found, of course, because we haven't created those pages yet. But the main page is existing, it's there, and admin panel is starting to form. And we have the link here that goes back to the app. And yeah, it works also. It brings me back to the application. Very nice. I think that works for now. We can move on to the next task. Now that the admin board is existing and works, we're going to populate it with real data. I let the last agent create a handover document, so I will also let the agent know I can read it. Now that we have an admin panel, you can have a look at the code structure. We need to populate this with real information. We want real user data. We want to know how many subscription tiers of each is existing. We want to see month-to-month growth. We want to see real generation data. To help you guide through this process, have a look in the handoff document folders, a admin dashboard implementation document and an admin dashboard enhancements document. This will give you context and you will know how to operate. Let's go and let's populate the dashboard with real actual data. Now, while the Claude agent is examining the documents, we're gonna have a quick talk what I want to see. Obviously, the most important KPI is MRR, monthly recurring revenues. I want to see how much money I make every month, and I want to see the growth. I obviously want to see how many people signed up, how many people are in the free tier, how many people are in the creator tier or the professional tier, and what's the growth with that. I also want to see my revenue. Here, we're going to simplify it a little bit. We're going to calculate the revenue from the tiers in the database directly. We're not going to implement the Stripe API for that. We're going to apply the general Stripe service fee to that. So the monthly recurring revenue or profit is already calculated in the right way. And it should populate the admin dashboard with all this information that it fetches from the Supabase database. So that's the idea. Obviously, at the moment, not too much data to be fetched. We only have myself as a subscriber and we have a few test subscribers. All right, the agent seems to be already done. I have populated the admin dashboard with real data from your database, backend enhancements, user growth, total users plus this month versus last month, subscription breakdown, count by tier, MRR calculation, monthly recurring revenue, generation stats, how many thumbnails are generated, front-end updates, to show all of that. Well, let's have a look how the dashboard looks now. We're gonna go again to /admin and it's loading statistics. And now I can see that this month we haven't gained any subscribers. We have 1 paying customers in the creator. 4 thumbnails have been generated this month. Are we sure this is correct? Generate a house with pool. Let's just have a quick look if that really works. Boom, some with that. So the data here works live, which is very nice. That was actually a cool test. We're gonna populate the user page with a user table where we can see their subscription, when they created and signed up. We can see their usage data and how much they have been using and all of the most important data per user that we need to know. Also, we're going to add some functionality to it. We want to be able to filter for the email. We want to be able to sort the table. Also, pagination should be in place in case we get more users than a couple. So also have a more clear look at the user table creation MD that I have prepared. And like this, we can populate the admin page, user section. Nice. So this page with the users is basically from where we can manage all the users. We can potentially give users free access if we want to give test users free access. We can delete users, we can edit users, we can have an overview of how many users are in which tier. We can sort or filter, for example, by subscription module, and so on and so forth. It's going to be our user management table. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to let the agent create it, and then we will check it out. It's also nice to have the email of each user there on each place in case we need to contact them for any issue or anything like that. Obviously, you want filtering and sorting in place just simply to save some time when you search for a certain user or when you want to manage certain things. This table will also help us to identify different user types, such as power users who use our app a lot versus people who maybe just sign up and never have used our application. So this will be also very useful information. We can target those users in certain ways, give them benefits or drive their engagement somehow, and well, other things that you do in the marketing aspects of your application. That seemed to have been a rather simple task. The agent is already finished. I've created a user manager admin user page with email search, tier filtering, sortable columns, pagination, fetch user emails, and all of that. That sounds great. Let's have a look if it's all functioning, and we take it from there. So back at our admin panel, we now should be able to access the users. And look at that. We see our users, which is test example, test all the test emails, and well, me, who is the admin. We see the tiers, very nice. We see when you signed up, last active, and the generations. And let me search by email. That would be maybe my email. I'm typing white on white. That should probably change because I can't read, but the filtering seems to be working. All tiers. Let's go and only filter for the free. Amazing. That all seems to be working. Just great. Okay, the only feedback that I have is that the white background, I'm not able to read it. The pagination seems to also work. Amazing. So we give them that feedback, and otherwise that's already working great also. Okay, the functionality seems to be all there, and the table looks and works just fine. One feedback point is that in the email filtering text field, as soon as I activate it, it turns into white background, and also the font or whatever I'm typing is also in white, so I cannot see it. So that's a problem. Same happens with the sorting. When I put a filter active, the active filter seems to be written in white and the background is also white. So we need to improve that. Other than that, we're good to go. Let's have a look again. There you go. Now I can actually see what I'm filtering. There you go. Nino. There you go. That works. I can filter for email and I can sort by tiers. That is pretty awesome. I'm quite happy with that. We have a user page. That will be exciting if some real users sign up here, but it looks fantastic like this already. All right, next we're gonna build out some revenue and subscription analytics. We have successfully created the user page, and now we're gonna look into some analytics. We're gonna wanna visualize, even with some graphs, a bunch of information. Let's dive in and create that. All right, now we're gonna create some analytics number at a page that is admin/revenue. I wanna see the monthly recurring revenue already calculated also with the Stripe cost. I want to see the churn rate. I want to see how many people signed up divided by the tier. I want the MRR to be represented in a chart. I want you to add a subscription breakdown how many of each tier signed up or left, and how many are currently present. Give me a breakdown from cost versus revenue. Also give me a recent event field where I see recent signups, etc. And I want to be able to select a certain time frame. Also have a quick look at the admin analytics MD that I've prepared for you in the handoff document folder, and we can start implementing this analytics page. So the agent is coding away, and we're going to have a look at the admin page in just a second. But maybe important to revisit a few of the things mentioned. As earlier talked about, MRR is monthly recurring revenue. This is how much revenue we make every month. Clearly, that should be adjusted with the Stripe costs. Then churn is basically the opposite, is how many people have left or canceled the service, how many people are leaving every month. So that is obviously also interesting. Ideally, more people sign up than leave, but there's always a relationship in between. And we want to know how many people are actually canceling their subscription every month. So that's MRR and churn, which probably are the most important ones. So these kind of numbers are just also important to understand your conversion funnel, from how many people come to your website, how many people actually sign up, and all of that. It will make you understand the complete flow, and you have some essential numbers right here. Also, sometimes just graphs work better in visualizing data than just pure numbers. So from the main KPI, sometimes I like to have graphs to visually just see how it's developing. So all of this we can probably add to our dashboard. The agent has finished an admin page / revenue, completed features, stat cards, 7 metrics, MRR, net MRR, revenue for this month, total cost, net profit, active subscription churn rate, and MRR chart. Again, very nice to sometimes see it visually. A subscription tier breakdown, very nice. Cost versus revenue chart, recent subscription events feed, time period selector, and Stripe fee calculations. Amazing. That sounds great. Let's actually look how it looks like in the actual dashboard. All right, we have revenue. Let's click revenue. It's loading. Oh, wow. Look at that. Basically, we one-shotted that. And I think it's absolutely amazing. Gross MRR, we're reading 1 subscription. Net MRR minus the Stripe fees. We see revenue this month. That will be recurring revenue. Total cost, which are the Stripe fees. Net profit, active subscribers is 1 and churn rate is 0. And monthly recurring revenue graph. Very nice. A subscription tier and breakdown, studio versus creator. Cost versus revenue breakdown. All right, revenue is here. Stripe fee, net revenue, gross revenue. All right, and recent subscription events. Very nice. I really like that. It's so cool that we can actually code graphs and dashboards and like that in literally a few minutes. I'm impressed with that. Let's see how it will actually work when it's in action. But so far, I'm very, very happy with that. And I think we can move on. We now have an overview dashboard. We have a user table, and we also have revenue data. The last missing piece in the puzzle is the content overview. We want to be able to see what users are actually doing, how much thumbnails or images they're generating. So let's go ahead and do that. We can still use the same context window because this has been pretty smooth and we have been progressing quite nicely. I'm going to show you guys a quick handy trick as well. If we type /read and then add, and then we go to our file. Here in the hand of docs, we have a admin content setup MD. That's the one highlighted. We want to add that one. And this is an MD file that I generate as a briefing of what we're going to do. Additionally to my prompt that I'm going to give him with Whisperflow. It's a nice workflow as well. to let the agent that worked before, for example, create a handover document. You already tell the agent what you want to do next, and that way you can make the next agent read, for example. Anyways, we also gonna give a spoken prompt. All right, we gonna build a admin/content page. Please also generate the link in the admin panel for it. And what we want to see is the usage of our thumbnail generation app. I want to be able to see total usage. I want to see the usage from the last 30 days. I want to see the different modi the thumbnails were generated, either by adding a file or file creation or by picking a YouTube URL and so on. I want you to give me a log card where I can see all the generations logged and a detailed page that when I click on it. Lastly, I also want you to create a small user table showing me the power users or the users that have been generating most thumbnails. Have a look and read the referenced setup, admin content setup MD, and let's generate that page. All right, while the agent is coding away, I think the content page is a very exciting one. You can actually see and feel how users are actually interacting with your product. You can also identify power users or people who don't use it. You as well see if something is going wrong. If someone has generated 500 thumbnails, which is in no tier allowed, then maybe some of the settings are wrong. So misusage can also be identified. It is definitely an exciting tab to monitor the usage of your product. So we're gonna generate that. That admin page actually needs to connect to the backend as well, to the usage generations. So let's see if that would be more complicated to do or not. We created an API route communicating with the backend. All right. And now we're creating actually the analytics page. Very nice. I'm going to be excited to check that out. The agent is ready. It has created the stat cards. It has generated a volume chart, a mode breakdown, log table, a detail model pop up when clicking on a certain log, top generation sections, just as I requested. Amazing. Additional features, database migration created to track individual generation. Okay, so I need to run another SQL code, and then I see it should be fine. To our SQL editor, and we're gonna run the code. Usually it says success, no rows returned. All right, then we go to the admin panel, we review that, and now we go to content and look at that. Total generations 5, generation this month, current billing period, total cost, model text to image, average cost per generation, unique user. Amazing. Obviously the graphs are not yet populated, but once we get real user data, top users, that's very nice. Okay, and recent generation logs, well, I guess there are none. Okay, but that looks absolutely great. You just saw us create a admin dashboard step by step. We have all the important data at one glance: monthly recurrent revenue, churn rate, content usage, power users. We can see everything. This makes me feel more and more so like if I'm about to run a proper company. Next time, we're going to add one more vital feature to the thumbnail generator, which is your own character creation that you can add to the thumbnail. We're going to continue to code this out in public. If you like what you see, please subscribe to my channel and leave a comment below.